Thank you, Jenny. Yes, I spent much of my life in education in secondary school, not far from here. And you hear stories in the staff room, some which you can repeat and others which you can't. But the story that I heard a little while ago was of a teacher asking the class this: what parts of speech are me and mine? And the answer came from the child: aggressive pronouns. Today we're going to think about a simple story. A simple story that Jesus tells. And we're going to, instead of me reading it to you or you reading from the screen, you're going to watch it. So let's watch the link, please. Thank you.
Stories of the Bible. The parable of the wealthy man. This is Jesus.
Hey-o!
Who is the Son of God and the Savior of the world. While Jesus was on earth, he taught everyone about God's love. He healed many people from their sickness, performed many miracles like calming storms, and even raised people from the dead.
Wahoo!
One day, a crowd gathered around Jesus to hear him talk. The crowd was so big that people were stepping on each other.
Hey, watch it!
Jesus was talking to his disciples when someone called out from the crowd,
Hey, Jesus!
"Teacher, tell my brother to divide with me the property our father left us."
Hold on there.
Jesus said, "Friend, who made me a judge over you to decide such things as that? Be careful and guard against all kinds of greed. A man's life is not measured by the many things he owns."
Huh?
Then he told them a story. A rich man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops. He said to himself, "What should I do? I don't have room for all my crops."
Oh, I got it.
Then he said, "I know. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have room enough to store all my wheat and other goods. And I'll sit back and say to myself, my friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy. Eat, drink, and be merry." But God said to him, "You fool, you will die this very night.
Wait, what?
Then who will get everything you worked for?" Yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with God.
You can be doing nothing wrong. Apart from switching the mute button on. You can be doing nothing wrong and yet not be right. That farmer wasn't doing anything sinful, but he was not doing it right. He's hardworking, probably quite smart. Seeing the way he organizes his farm, we look back and say, well done. He's rich. Shows that he's capable and he's doing well in his business. Crops are well organized, stored in barns, all great practice. He has the foresight to plan for bigger barns, anticipating a better harvest to come. We have here a model, successful business person. Smart, hardworking, capable, yet the Lord's verdict of him surprised us. God called him a fool. In fact, if the story ends just in verse 16, take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry, we'd probably say, this is a good example. He's somebody to be looked. He's almost a role model for us. This is a nice life, a very good life. Working hard, managing life well, saving enough for old age, and everything will be fine. I would be considered successful and I could retire in comfort. But the story didn't stop there. Jesus went on with a verdict on this man's life. And it kind of spoilt the fairy tale story here. He calls him a fool. I don't know who you'd call a fool, but if you were looking at this guy up the road, working in the downs or down towards the beach, you'd probably say, good guy, doing really well. Jesus revealed and God revealed that he would die that very night. It comes as a surprise. It's not expected. He didn't expect that. Neither did we. And that's the problem. We did not expect a lot of things. We go through life day in and day out thinking that we have forever to live. We have many things to do and we're happily doing them. We didn't pause to question what we were doing, nor did we think about the significance of what we were doing. He never thought that when he had an abundance, I'll give some away. He didn't think that way. He had the very reverse of Christianity. He never denied himself. He affirmed himself. Instead of finding happiness in giving, he tried to conserve it by keeping. Honestly, we don't expect Jesus to come tomorrow. That would really mess up our plans, our goals for the year, our objectives. We're not prepared to leave this world, not at least for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, for some of you, even 50 years. We don't expect to lose our job. We don't expect to lose our health. We don't expect to lose our freedom. But that's not real, and we know that. Time is not in our hands. We need to pause and let some things settle down. Only then can you see what's temporary and transient and what things are not. Only then can you reorientate your stuff and do what is eternally significant. If that someone who came to Jesus had thought about it, he wouldn't have quarreled with his brother over his inheritance, putting his possessions above his relationship with his brother. The question being asked is, what's most important? Let's just do a short exercise in our mind. Think of all the things you're doing today. What are some of the things that are going to last, that are going to have eternal significance? And what things are temporary, transient? I was surprised when I thought about it. I hope you are too. This farmer had no time for that reflection. He's too busy preparing for his crops. He thought, I had so much to lose and nothing to gain. But the truth is, he didn't achieve anything of lasting significance. He has only earthly possessions and no eternal reward. He's only concerns for himself, no regards for God. He's not rich toward God, in Jesus' words. What he's been doing all his life has been earthly, temporary, and self-centered. There's nothing seriously wrong with earthly concerns. But if that's all I am busy about, something is wrong. God says, I am a fool, and God says, you are a fool. Let's take the advice from King Solomon in the book of Ecclesiastes. Next slide, please. I hated all the things I had toiled for under the sun, because I must leave them to the one who comes after me. And who knows whether he'll be a wise man or a fool. Yet he will have control over all the work into which I have poured my effort and skill under the sun. This too is meaningless. So my heart began to spare over all my toilsome labor under the sun. For a man may do his work with wisdom, knowledge, and skill, and then he must leave all he owns to someone who has not worked for it. This too is meaningless and a great misfortune. What does a man get for all the toil and anxious striving with which he labors under the sun? All his days his work is pain and grief. Even at night his mind does not rest. This too is meaningless. I came across this interesting yet sad story this week. A man was dying at home in bed, about to breathe his last. His family were making the preparations for the funeral. The dying man could smell the aroma of his favorite chocolate chip cookie baking downstairs. He wanted one more cookie before he died. He just loved them. He dragged his body out of bed, rolled down the stairs, crawled into the kitchen, and reached out a trembling arm to grab one final cookie. Someone smacked his hand and said, "Put that back there for the funeral." This rich man that we were thinking about with Jesus had many cookies, and he thought they were all for him. He said, "I will say to myself, you have plenty of good things laid up for many years. Take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry. One more harvest, one more barn, one more cookie." And that night, he passed on. I was at a funeral a long time ago, but it was somebody who was fairly wealthy, and you know how people start to talk in that wake period about what's been left behind. And someone said, "I wonder how much he left behind." Somebody who is far more intelligent and wise than me says, "I know, he left it all." Everybody always leaves it all. Now, Jesus in this parable sums up the lesson in a single line. And it's nothing really to do with wealth and being rich and having abundance. He's saying, this is how it will be with anyone who stores up things for himself, but is not rich towards God. The objective of our life is to be rich towards God. Have I been rich towards God? Has my security been in God or in the bank accounts and the pension funds and the property and the possessions? Where have I invested my money? Where have I invested my time? The encouragement here is not to live as if you will always have tomorrow. Now, this parable is a parable, but it's also real. And that's the frustrating bit about it. This can happen to you, and it can happen to me. So we have a simple story. Let me introduce you to a simple square. Next slide, please. A calendar is filled with squares, and each square is another day. We live one square at a time. A very wise Dutchman named Lewis Smeeds wrote about this a while ago, and I picked up what he said. So let me just read as you look at the squares. "I bought a brand new date book yesterday," he said. "The kind I use every year. Spiral bound, black imitation leather, wrapped around pages and pages of blank boxes. Every square has a number to tell me which day of the month I'm in now. Every square is a frame for one episode of my life. Before I'm through with the book," he said, "I will fill the squares with classes I teach, people with whom I ate lunch, everlasting committee meetings I sit through, and these are only the things I can't afford to forget. I fill the squares too with things I don't write down, to remember thousands of cups of coffee, some time with my wife, some praying, and I hope some gestures of help to neighbors. Whatever I do," he said, "it must fit inside one of those squares. I live one square at a time. The 4 lines that make up the box are the walls of time that organize my life. Each box has an invisible door that leads to the next square. As if by a silent stroke, the door opens and I am pulled through, as if by a magnet, sucked into the next square in line. There I will again fill the time frame that seals me, fill it with my busyness, just as I did the square before. As I get older, the squares seem to get smaller. One day I will walk into a square that has no door. There will be no mysterious opening and no walking into an adjoining square. One of those squares will be terminal. I don't know which square it will be. We are all square fillers. Let's not waste those squares. Simple story, simple square, and lastly, a simple sticker. I have before me on the floor, and I shall show you later in a moment, the bowls of stickers. I have some blue stickers and I have some red stickers. And I could go around this room and into this room, and I could head up to 34 Victoria Road and walk around my home. And I could put the red sticker on lots of things. Things that are temporary. Temporary, transient, not going to last forever. You see, if we are living for temporary satisfaction, temporary joy, temporary meaning, we need to know it will come to an end. And it will leave us with a terrible emptiness. You see, wise people build their lives around that which is eternal and squeeze in what's temporary. Not the other way around. To be thinking about temporary things and then squeeze in God on and off. There's only one thing that's not temporary. There's only one thing that you'll be allowed to take with you from this life into the next. Let me show you. There's only one thing, and that's love for people. Only one thing. When you get to the end of your life and you take in your last breath, what do you want your life to be about? What will make it rich in the eyes of God? It's people. You're forever. People are forever. We are to love people and to care for their soul. Think about those two words, forever and temporary. What are some of the things that you need to put a red sticker on just to remember that they're temporary? You might walk around your home and stick it on the bookshelf, stick it on the TV, stick it on the computer, stick it on the armchair, the kitchen, that lovely aga or range that you have, the beautiful shed that you've put up over the summer, put it on there. Then take the blue sticker and think about what's forever. Put them on your children, your parents, your brothers and sisters in this church community. And don't forget to put one on your own forehead as well. For the things in our lives are only temporary. The day is coming when the titles on your CV and resumes and your LinkedIn profile will no longer impress anyone. No one will remember the trophies you've won, the awards you've managed to gain, or the clothes you've worn. Stephen Covey, who's a great coaching teacher, said this in a seminar. He says, do you know what the common topic of conversation at deathbeds is? And most of us understand what that is. It's not the movies. It's not the TV shows you've sat through endlessly in front of Netflix as it buffers. No. The topic that revolves around at that time is family. It's people. How are my grandchildren? What's my sister doing? Where's my son? Why isn't my wife here? All that will be left at that point is love. That which is done out of love for God will last. That man should have loved his brother, not his inheritance. Maybe there's some people in your life that you need to show more love and more care for. We've been reminded over these last couple of years of the passage in Matthew where Jesus says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. Last slide, please. So let's love God and love people. Let's love God and you will love people. Let's love God by loving people. Let's love people and your love for God will deepen. I'm going to ask you to come forward in a moment and to take some stickers. I'm asking everybody to do it. This is not some sort of spiritual exercise where you're going to get zapped or whatever. Just come and take some stickers. Okay, that's it. All right? Come and take some stickers. Take a group of 3 red stickers and 3 blue stickers. Take them home. Think about where you can put them. Maybe just for 24 hours. Maybe for a week. Maybe you'd sit down as a family and say, where can we put the red stickers? Where can we put the blue stickers? And in that, take the story of the parable of the rich fool, of the wealthy man, who didn't know what it was to be rich towards God. I can ask the band to come and lead us in a final song. I will lay out the bowls of stickers. There'll be a bowl of blue and a bowl of red there, and there'll be a bowl of blue and a bowl of red over there. So please feel free, while the band lead us, come and take a strip of 3 blue, strip of 3 red to take home with you and to use over the next couple of days. Thank you.